Welcome back, Agent. Your next mission is to listen to this audio file and absorb its knowledge. The information contained in this file is highly secretive, so be warned it will self-destruct as soon as it's played through. So listen closely as the file you're about to hear will tell you about some of the coolest spy gadgets that have ever existed. Are you ready to proceed? Welcome back, Wanderers, to another Foolish Wanderers podcast, the podcast about anything and everything. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the coolest, craziest, wackiest spy gadgets that have actually existed.
And I'm very excited because when I was a little girl, this was my dream job.
Being a spy.
Espionage.
Oh. what every parent wants their little kid to say.
Yep.
So we're going to be starting off with the gadget that inspired me for this episode. So as of growing up, I was always a big fan of Mysteries at the Museum. It was one of my favorite shows. And
it's a good program. Is it still on?
I think sometimes. I don't know if they still make new episodes. They make, what is it? It's like different versions of it, but not the same thing.
Okay. Travel Channel, right?
Yeah, Travel Channel. Yep. So this is one of the gadgets that was on there. It is an umbrella gun. So we'll get into some of the backstory. Okay, so Georgie Markov was a dissident novelist, dissident novelist, according to Google, is someone that disagrees with or criticizes their government, or a powerful organization that they belong to. So Georgie Markov had defected, was a dissident novelist, and he had defected from Bulgaria. So while Markov was on his way to work at BBC in London in 1978, he felt a sharp sting on the back of his thigh. So he was just walking on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden he felt this sharp sting in his thigh.
A bee.
It could have been. Sadly, it wasn't, though. So behind him, he saw a man picking up an umbrella. So the man that was picking up his umbrella apparently spoke with a foreign accent. He apologized to Markov and then hurried into a cab that whisked him away. So just was there, picked up an umbrella, apologized, and got away.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. So right then, I'd be freaked out in the first place, but then...
What kind of accent?
I don't know. They didn't really describe it.
Because I think it'd be hilarious. Because if it was me...
Okay.
And because, not many accents are threatening.
Mm-hmm.
A Minnesotan accent is not threatening. Or
no.
Midwestern accent's not threatening. So if it was just you'd be, oh, beer, I gotta get my umbrella over here. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it kind of is, yeah.
A Midwesterner would be the perfect spy.
Are you sure? They'd apologize for everything.
I think they'd be the perfect spy because you wouldn't suspect them. They'd show
Very
up
true.
to anything in denim shorts with white sneakers and a button. I don't know, a crappy polo shirt or a button-up plaid shirt with
jeans,
weird boots.
So kind of hipster-ish.
It's before hipster comfy. Was it's a comfy hipster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that night, Markov came down with a fever, and then 4 days later, he died, sadly. So doctors discovered that he was poisoned by ricin. So ricin is a byproduct of castor oil. So after castor beans are processed to make castor oil, what is left behind is the waste mash that is ricin. So that's the poison.
You know what? I put castor oil in my hair and on my eyelashes every single day.
I mean, this is a byproduct of it, so I don't think castor oil is inherently dangerous, but...
I'm still going to think about it as I do it tonight when I put it on my eyelashes.
Oh, I would too, yes. I'm putting poison on my eyes.
I do that because... I do it because I have no eyelashes.
Yes, you do.
They're they're very scarce and spaced unevenly on my eyelid.
Oh, okay.
It's sad.
Isn't it? So one thing that I always kind of think about too is so you know how mercury and lead used to be in everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is that in our time?
Plastic,
yeah, but isn't I feel there's multiple compounds that could end up being that same dose of why did you use this in everything?
True. I think the biggest one right now is plastic and maybe GMO in food. I don't really know. That's just my educated assumption.
Yeah. All right, so getting back to the story.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
guy. Yeah, we. This is a very interesting story, and we keep
it
talking
is.
about like, oh, I'm rubbing castor oil on my hair and my eyelids, and then to what's.
Yes, this is the Foolish Wanderers podcast.
Mhm.
We wander a lot.
This is an
Hence the name.
interesting. So the guy's from Bulgaria. He
Mhm.
feels like a sting in the back of his knee or leg.
His leg, yeah.
This
Mhm.
weird like Minnesotan guy has like the umbrella, goes into a taxi, and then this guy dies like 4 days later,
Mhm.
and he's poisoned with ricin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So a medical examiner found a tiny pellet less than 2 millimeters in diameter in his leg. So it was a round, like pellet, a round
I've
pellet.
heard of stuff like this.
Have you? It's kind
Mhm.
of scary. Think about it. It's like it's so small. Like you don't think about it. It's not like a bullet. It's way smaller, so you don't feel it. And you don't notice it, and then yeah, by the time you do, it's too late.
Oh yeah, it's too late.
Yeah. So, based on the details Markov remembered before he died, investigators developed a theory of how he'd been shot. So, they came up with the umbrella gun. So, the umbrella gun was invented in the 19th century as a variant of a more popular cane gun. So, it was another type of like small projectile gun. First patented in 1823, cane guns were relatively simple weapons disguised to look like walking canes, otherwise known as a gentleman's weapon.
Mhm.
So, so the umbrella gun took the same idea and then applied it to another personal item. So they believed like the gun part, so you know, like on the top of the umbrella is like the usually like a little,
That metal cap.
yeah, like a metal cap or like a little
Yep.
stick or whatever.
Mhm.
That's what the pellet would have come out of.
Yeah. If any of our listeners have ever watched any like animated Batman movie, I
Yeah.
think even in Batman Returns with Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito, where Danny
Mhm.
DeVito is playing the
Mhm.
Penguin uses an umbrella gun.
Yeah, and that's what they say. Like this is kind of the inspiration for his weapons. So, yeah,
Is
it's
this
like a
story
gentleman.
or just that real weapon?
I think it's just the weapon. Like
Okay.
they knew that it existed. There's not many that survived. Like the metal parts would survive, but not like the fabric outer layer, you know, so that would rot away pretty quickly. But then like the metal parts you'd
Mm,
have. So there's actually collectors that have some of them still. So
cool.
yeah.
I like that. So the whole ricin gun, like little ricin pellet that can be
Mhm.
inserted into that could poison you without you even knowing,
Yes.
without the victim knowing,
Yep.
sort of reminded me back to our episode 35, which is called Wildest Ways the CIA Tried to Kill Castro.
Yep. Yep.
One was a pen
Mhm.
that if it had so instead of the ball point at the end, it was a needle that you
Yep.
couldn't feel, and that would do the same thing. It would put ricin into your body and kill you.
It's so creepy. The
It's
thought that
creepy.
ugh, yeah. Yeah, I saw like doing research for this podcast, a lot of these like weird weapons and stuff were made by the CIA. So
The CIA is evil.
they had a lot of like what
They
did you call
still
it?
do.
Like
We don't even know what they have right now.
yeah, that's kind of terrifying. They have a lot of imagination. There you go. That's the word I was thinking of. So speaking of the CIA, they created our next weapon. The CIA developed a gun that would give a person a heart attack.
And it was called the KFC $5 bucket.
Yes, chicken will give you no delicious chicken.
Mhm.
So the gun would be loaded with a frozen toxic dart. So then when this dart was fired at a high speed, the dart I believe it was made of like water or something that would melt. So when the bullet like would enter your body, it would melt and then the poison inside of this dart would trigger a heart attack.
What's the poison?
I don't know. I didn't find that.
Okay.
But it's just like something that would make your heart go into like cardiac arrest.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that way, so like it's also it melts in your body, so then nobody would know like what happened really because it would disappear. Like it would melt in your body and it
Mhm.
couldn't be detected in an autopsy. So like the toxin would be one of those that like would kill you but then leave your body extremely quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yes. All right. So the next one that I have is the lipstick pistol. There's a lot of guns. A lot
So
of
many guns.
yes, there's a lot of these. So the lipstick pistol was used by the KGB operatives during the Cold War. It was a 4.5 millimeter single shot weapon and was small enough to be slipped past even the most suspicious border guards because it looked like a tube of lipstick. Even like the end, like where the bullet would come out, was dyed pink like lipstick. So it looked like lipstick. So it fires by like when you press the bullet, the barrel of the gun or this lipstick tube against your victim. That's what would trigger it to shoot or to fire.
Oh, if you press the
Uh-huh.
oh,
So, like, you walk up to
creepy.
somebody and, like, press the end of the tube into the person,
Mhm.
and then it fires. That's
That
what fires
fires,
it.
that's a trigger.
Mhm.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh, I would just try to have, like, the person use my lipstick. I'd be
I
like,
don't
"Here."
Yes. Oh, that'd be worse. Oh. But yeah, I don't know, I guess how hard you have to push it into the person either, if you had to, like,
Oh,
jab it at somebody
stab,
or if you
like,
just,
ugh.
like, gently push it, I don't know. So it kinda differs of, like, how you can use it too.
Mhm.
So now we're gonna go on to some more espionage kind of stuff.
Mm.
So the next one that I have is a wristwatch camera. A lot of the stuff too, like so in my research, a lot of the gadgets are either like projectile, like firing things like guns or cameras, like very tiny cameras. So
Makes
that's like
sense that
kind of
it's
the
a
two.
the cameras
Yeah,
make sense to me. The
yeah.
hidden guns make sense a little bit too, and then
Mhm.
hidden blades probably as well.
Yeah, yep, things like
Mhm.
that, yeah. Alright, so this one version of a miniature camera allowed an agent to take photographs while pretending to check his or her watch. If you were to wear it, it looks like a real watch because it is the size, like, the face of, like, a regular watch for the time. That's what like, it's not, like, a huge
Yeah,
Rolex
this
type of watch, it's like a regular wristwatch
yep.
size. So the agent would carefully aim the camera while pretending to check the time, which wasn't, like, an easy thing because there's no viewfinder, so basically you just, like, point and shoot.
Blindly.
Yes, blindly, yes. So and then to snap the photo, the agent would press the side button, so, like, like, how you change the time on, like, your wristwatch? It's, like,
Mhm.
the little sidewinder thing. So that's the button to take the photos. So the Steeneck, a product of post-war Germany, was especially good for photographing secret meetings, private conversations, and other close encounters. So its film disc, which is about, like, an inch across, could produce 8 exposures, so it
So
could only
that's
take
what
8
it's called. Is it called
photos.
a Steennick?
Mhm,
So
Steeneck.
it's used by German spies?
I believe yes. At least this version was, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, so like if it looks so it has like a normal watch like size round face.
Yeah,
But
it looks completely like a normal watch with the, leather strap and, like, the silver body, just that instead of having an actual watch face, it has these little I mean, it's pretty obvious to me that it's a camera. It has this
yeah, I
huge
mean,
ass lens and then surrounded by, like, a flash and then other
yeah. Like if you
camera. Unless you were a blind person, you could be like, "That looks like a weird watch. What is that?" You'd be
yeah, like
suspicious.
yeah, you'd be suspicious right away if you looked at it, but unless you like really looked at it, you probably wouldn't see,
I'm
"Oh,
just gonna
camera."
say this,
Yes.
the CIA came up with a heart attack gun
Yes.
that you shoot someone with a bullet that dissolves and then it gives you a heart attack, and
yes.
you don't know who did it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Germans, we think this is German spy, right?
I believe so, yes. This one
Are
is.
coming up with these Fisher Price looking kids' toy watches.
This is one version of it though.
It's a bad version.
But I think, like, if it's post-war Germany, it'd be, like, the early 1900s, so, like, it wouldn't be
Depend
it's
which
true.
war.
That's very true. Yes. Yeah. It doesn't say which war, so
Germany's gotta step up their game. This is embarrassing for them. And the KGB, lipstick gun, it's great because men don't know
yeah.
really what lipstick looks like.
Yeah, true.
I
Well,
mean,
I mean, you could go buy one and be like, "Oh, this is what it looks like," and make it
mhm.
look like that.
Yeah, but I mean, the nub is off of it, so, like, maybe that's
Yeah,
what
it
it looks
is.
like when the nub isn't when the whole lipstick isn't, you know
Yeah, yeah, you think, like, because it's just so, like, the tip of the lipstick gun looks like you just, like, chopped off the actual bullet of the lipstick, instead of, like, making the actual lipstick usable part, it just looks like someone just broke a lipstick off,
Yeah, it
and
looks
then
like a
that's the
broken
gun.
lipstick.
Yeah,
Men wouldn't know.
yeah.
Mr. Kendra found, like, these Hello Kitty, rice candies
Okay.
in the pantry, and he thought they were tampons. So, like, men don't know what things look like. They don't
What?
know.
Aren't rice candies, like, tiny?
These are, like, long.
Oh, are they? Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
But they don't look like tampons at all.
Oh, Mr. Kendra. That's good. Okay. Next one that I have is a glove pistol. So this one was designed for the US Navy and was manufactured by the RF Sedgley company. So the gun is a simple device that does what it looks like it's going to do. So it's a single So if you look at this thing, it's like a gardening leather glove.
Oh, that's so stupid. Oh my god, I thought this was on, like, the palm, and I was like, "Okay," I'm like, "It's kinda bulky, but you could make it look
It's
like you were."
Yeah, no, so
Oh
the
my
glove with
god.
on the top of it is what looks like a rudimentary gun. So it's a single shot, .38 S&W barrel mounted alongside a plunger, which extends beyond the muzzle of the barrel. So the whole thing is riveted to a heavy leather glove, basically a gardening glove.
Mhm.
And then when the wearer makes a fist, the plunger and the muzzle are left slightly in front of the knuckles, so they stick out just beyond your knuckles. And then you would punch something or someone, and that would plunge the press in the plunger, which would then fire
That's the
the
trigger.
bullet. That's the
Okay.
trigger. Yeah. So kind of like the lipstick gun, but instead
Yep.
you're punching somebody. So you just like
Not
imagine.
obvious at all, right?
Oh no, it's not like it's a
Inconspicuous.
bright it's very conspicuous. It's not like it's like a bright yellow glove with a black gun attached to the back of it.
You'd have to wear, like, the bulkiest of trench coats or something to hide it, like, the longest trench
Yeah.
coat.
Yes, you would have
This
to.
is like something this gadget's like something that, like, in cartoons or movies, like kids' movies where the children are,
Mhm.
on in the big long trench coat and there's, like, 3 of them underneath and they're on top of
Yes.
each other's shoulders and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm just a gentleman. Don't mind me. No one will suspect a
Yes.
thing. I have this fake long beard and I'm just a tall, weird man." That's something that they would wear, this
Yes.
weapon, to kill
This is their
someone.
weapon. Yes.
Mhm, this is their weapon.
Yes, you just, like, walk through a party and just, like, like, punch your arch nemesis and you shoot
So
him.
stupid. I
So
don't think that the US Navy was expecting that this person would come back.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, they were like, "Well, it doesn't matter." Pff.
Oh. Well, if you can believe it or not, between 50 and 200 of them were made and issued.
Oh my
However,
god.
however, there's no confirmed record of any actually being used in combat because
Okay.
why?
Why would there be? Yep.
I don't think it would work very well, but it existed. All right, so the next one I have, Kendra might not like, but I think it's hilarious and amazing. Next one are pigeons. Kendra's cringing and shaking her head.
I hate birds.
I
Sorry if
know.
you like birds. I hate them so much. They're so
So
creepy.
So during World War One, pigeons were outfitted with tiny cameras and released over enemy territory. So as they would fly over wherever they're like fly over the area, the cameras would click constantly, snapping photos. So they just fly and just have this little camera snapping photos constantly until they return back to where they were released from.
Mhm.
It's
I
fabulous.
I think that's better than what I was thinking when I first had the headline of pigeons. I was like, "So
Pigeons.
what, they have, like, little mini machine guns on their wings, little knives? What is it?"
Yes. They
It's
just
smart
fly
to have
and stab people.
yeah, just fly and stab people, but this is they're trained in Krav Maga, but no, with the camera attached to the pigeon's legs, it's clever.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
So, actually, no, it's not their legs, it's a harness. So it's, like,
They're
around their
wearing,
body.
like, a harness?
It's like a bodysuit,
So
yes.
somebody had to design and outfit pigeons with the bodysuit, and they okay.
Yes, yes,
What a
they did.
job. What a job.
Oh, it's fantastic. So, since the earliest days of espionage, pigeons have been a spy's best friend. Distinguished by their speed and ability to return home in any weather, pigeons carried precious tiny cargo above enemy lines. So during both world wars, radio communication was often unreliable, so troops would count on pigeon post. So there are hundreds of thousands of carrier pigeons sent through enemy fire, and out of those hundreds of thousands, 95% of those pigeons completed their missions. It was
Whoa.
actually very effective. Because, like, if you think about it, you're not gonna, like, shoot every single bird that you see, like, unless you know, like, a
Never.
bird's, like,
Yeah.
it has something attached to it, like, it's just a bird.
Yep. I wouldn't think anything of it. Well, I mean, I, like,
Y
look
well, you
in
hate
the
birds,
skies.
so
I hate things. I'm
I
constantly
mean,
looking, but
yeah, yep. But I've also seen too, like, where they, for, like, little messages, they had, like, these little tubes that they just attached to their legs, and that would be, like, their little
yeah.
secret codes. Yeah. So that's another way that they'd use pigeons. So pigeons were used worldwide through the 1950s, and they earned more medals of honor than any other animal.
Even dogs?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yep.
I had no idea. I really didn't.
They're pretty cute. I think it's cool.
No.
You have to like okay, I know you don't like pigeons, but you have to admit this is kind of cool.
I think it's a cool I think it's a neat little gadget.
Mhm.
It definitely is.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like how to make it light enough so they don't crash because birds they're very light. You can't
I just
strap
can't
like a 5 pound thing
imagine
to them.
being the scientist coming back to, like, your spouse, and your
Mhm.
spouse is like, "Well, what did you do at work today?" I had to try and outfit a pigeon with a camera and make a harness, and then we had to test how what kind of cameras they could carry and what." She's like,
Yep.
"What?
And now we get to make 500 of them.
Woo!"
Alrighty. So next one that I have are hidden maps. So during World War II, the US playing card company joined forces with the American and British intelligence agencies to create a deck and to create like a custom card deck
Mhm.
and help Allied prisoners of war escape from German prisoner of war camps. So when these cards were soaked in water, the card halves would separate to reveal a piece of a map inside. So then an agent would need more cards, like they'd piece them together to make the entire map. So
What's the
it's a
map about? Like, is the map the camp?
yeah, and that's like a way for them to escape. Yeah. Yep. So how were they able to get the cards? Well, so Allied prisoners of war scattered around the camps across Germany and occupied Europe were guaranteed the right to receive mail and packages from the Red Cross, as long as the packages didn't contain any weapons of any kind.
Okay.
So the decks were distributed during Christmas via the Red Cross. So the Christmas parcels, which always contained a deck of cards to help the prisoners pass their time in captivity. So in that deck of cards, special packs went out unnoticed by camp guards.
So how would the prisoner of war, the prisoners, how would they
Mhm.
know to then soak these special cards?
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure how they got that, unless a different spy already went in and was like, "Be on the lookout for like this special like deck or something like that."
Mhm.
Maybe that's I don't know exactly how, because it's still pretty closely guarded, like
Yeah.
how these worked.
Yeah.
So it could have been just like a secret code or like a secret somebody like went in there like warned them or just like gave them a heads up.
Mhm.
So yeah, so the now famous and once top secret map deck helped at least 32 people escape from Colditz Castle and encouraged more than 316 escape attempts. So
Not
it
very
actually
good
got
odds.
32 people. No, but it was still like it was an attempt and like yeah.
It still helped 32 people get out.
Yeah, yeah, which is impressive.
Mhm.
And the last one that I have is also from the CIA. It is the original 1976 Insecto Thopper.
Great name.
It's a mouthful. So the Insecto Thopper was a miniature unmanned aerial vehicle developed by the CIA Research and Development Office in the 1970s. The Insecto Thopter was the size of a dragonfly and was hand painted to look like one. So using a mini engine, it was supposedly able to fly 650 feet for 60 seconds via remote control.
So this
So
is the original drone.
basically, yes, it was like the size and looked. They manufactured it to look like a dragonfly. So the dragonfly's wide wingspan allowed it to take flight easily. However, the CIA couldn't control it even in light 5-mile-per-hour winds,
So
so
they
it
never
failed very
it
quickly.
never used.
No.
Oh, no.
Like, in theory, it's kinda cool because it could take, like, photos and
That's
stuff.
such an awesome idea.
I know, it's just like this little insect, but it kinda failed right
How
away.
do these people come up with this stuff? Are they just spitballing any idea that comes to the top of their head? They're like, "What about a meatball that has a bomb in it and you eat it and it blows them up?" Is
Oh,
it just
no.
stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm sure it's just, like, you throw anything out there. It's like how we used to have, like, our like, what is it, like, brainstorm days where we just, like, throw up a bunch of, like, ideas and see what
Anything.
sticks.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's kinda like that. Well, if you think about it, it's like another thing like the pigeons. Like, you're not gonna think about a dragonfly
I
unless
would
it's, like, a
never
randomly
think about a dragonfly.
yeah, unless it's very noisy for some reason. But, yeah, like, you wouldn't think about it, and so just fly in there, take a bunch of pictures, and leave.
Yeah,
So who
that's such a cool job would be to just
just figure out this stuff, like, "How do I
yeah.
get this little camera to work? How do I get this little
I'd
dragonfly
wanna be
drone to
the
work?"
painter.
That'd be cool.
I'd
Yeah.
be like, "I'm gonna paint this and look like a dragonfly."
So to kind of end out this podcast, I do have one more fun fact saved up from my list of fun facts. So this one is there's a basketball court above the Supreme Court. It is known as the highest court in the land.
There's a basketball court?
Above the Supreme Court.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of short, but kind of funny.
That's funny.
Again, that was from allthat'sinteresting.com. I love that website.
Let's see. What do I have? Do I have anything interesting? I have like cooking stuff.
Okay.
You want a cooking segment?
Yeah, we can do a cooking segment.
All right, this is Cooking with Kendra.
Ooh.
Ooh. So this is called How to Fix a Dish That's Too Spicy, Salty, or Acidic.
Okay.
So if a dish that you're making is too spicy, you can counteract with sour cream or coconut milk.
Oh, I love sour cream.
Me too. You can diffuse heat by adding more broth, meat, or veggies, and you can neutralize taste with sugar or honey. Pretty good one. If your dish is too salty, you can mask with a squeeze of lemon or a dash of mild vinegar. You can soak up the salt with noodles, grains, or potatoes, so starchy carbs, stuff like that. Or you can incorporate a creamy component like avocado or again sour cream.
Just sour cream. Just always have
It's just
sour
cream. So lastly, our last group is acidic. So if your dish that you're making is too acidic, you can balance flavor by adding fats like oil or butter. You can soften by stirring in a teaspoon of baking soda, which I have never done in my life.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. Or you can ease like tartness by whisking in a pinch of sugar.
Oh,
so no sour cream on that one.
Dang. Can't say it's too acidy. Okay. I found something else on allthat'sinteresting.com. It says a 90-year-old AT&T customer bought an ad in the Wall Street Journal to complain about his internet speeds.
I love that. I would do that.
You want me to read it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so this is what he says. So the column is headed Paid Advertisement, Open Letter to Mr. John T. Stankey, CEO at AT&T. Dear Mr. Stankey, AT&T prides itself as a leader in electronic communications. Unfortunately, for the people who live in North Hollywood, California, AT&T is now a major disappointment. Many of our neighbors are the creative technical workers in the Universal, Warner Brothers, Disney Studios, that's a humble brag, in the adjacent city of Burbank, and our city. We need to keep up with our current technology and have looked to AT&T to supply us with fast internet service. Yet, although AT&T is advertising speeds up to 100 Mbps, up to 100 megabytes per second, for other neighborhoods, the fastest now available to us from AT&T is only 3 megabytes per second. That's insane.
That's really slow.
That's really slow. So your competitors now have the speeds of over 200 megabytes per second. Why is AT&T, a leading communications company, treating us so shabbily in North Hollywood? Sincerely, Aaron M. Epstein, an AT&T customer since 1960.
Oh my gosh.
That's a long time
Legendary.
To be with AT&T. That's great.
Legendary bitch. Oh, I love it. Not bitch like they're a bitch, but like they're bitching. I love it.
It's pretty great.
That was great.
I hope they fixed his internet because that's really slow, especially if you're promised 100.
If they're price gouging or, promised and then they're charging you for that and you're not giving. That's amazing. Rented an ad out in the Wall Street Journal just to complain. Drag AT&T. Drag them.
Guess how much he paid for that ad?
Probably like $5,000, right?
It was a quarter-page advertisement. $10,000.
Just think the amount of rage that this person had to have. Where they're like, you know what? Money. To spend that much money in one of the biggest publications in the United States. Gosh. Holy crap.
See, most people these days would go on Twitter or like go on TikTok.
I think I would do the same thing if I was really angry about something.
And I had that
much extra money, I'd be like, you know what?
Yep. The other part, so it's like going into this, so the article going along with that ad says that his internet was so slow that he and his wife couldn't even watch movies as streaming services would get stuck endlessly loading. So, I feel bad if they paid so much money to have it.
$10,000.
Gosh, dang.
That was great.
That's pretty great. Thank you so much, Wanderers, for listening to another Foolish Wanderers podcast. If you'd like to check out the companion images for this episode, check out our Instagram at Foolish Wonders Podcast. And of course, there's always our email, if fwplisteners@gmail.com, if you'd like to send us any future episode ideas.
And new episodes come out every single Wednesday from wherever you get your podcast from, including this place.
Thank you so much for listening, Wanderers, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Agent, for listening in. We hope that you enjoyed this audio file and learned something. Like mentioned before, this audio file will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2,